Chris Baker radio program. Here we go. It's 100.3 K-Talk, and we're now joined by General Motors Vice President Susan Doherty. Ms. Doherty, welcome to the Chris Baker radio program.
Good morning, Chris. It's great to be with you.
Well, it's very exciting to have you here. You know, it's kind of ironic. Here, the biggest news in the country is General Motors, and right here, the very next day, the Vice President of General Motors is on the Chris Baker show. Do I have pull or what?
You certainly do. I don't know what it is, but I feel pretty privileged to be on your show.
Were most of the vice presidents fighting over who was going to be able to be on the Chris Baker show? Do you know?
I raised my hand first.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, my first question is, as a General Motors stockholder, why should I be happy about what's going on here?
Well, I will tell you that
play us out. What does that mean?
Certainly is a word that scares a lot of people. It means shared sacrifice by our dealers, our suppliers, our partners, our employees, and the list goes on. But what bankruptcy does is it gives us an opportunity to restructure the company, which we absolutely needed. There were some things that we were not going to be able to restructure if we hadn't entered into a 363 filing. So in terms of you as now a new stockholder in our company, and I'm sure you'll be able to give me some advice as the public now, technically as our boss, this gives us an opportunity to completely restructure our balance sheet and reinvent our company and focus on 4 core brands going forward and make sure that this company can be lean, quick, and sustainable for the future.
Are you still going to make Corvettes?
Yes, we certainly are.
Will they still have big whopping engines and go really fast?
Well, I will tell you that in terms of Corvette, that's part of its DNA. A car that looks great and goes fast. Yes, I can tell you that is part of Chevrolet's future.
Okay, good. So we're not going to have to get like the 6-cylinder Corvette.
Well, you know, to be completely honest here, the Obama administration has been very clear with us that they do want a focus within our portfolio on fuel-efficient engines, hybrid technology, electric vehicles, but we're still going to have room in our portfolio for niche products like the Corvette that are fast, sporty, with big V8s.
Now, will you have to clear models through the Obama administration?
That's a great question, Chris, and the answer to that is no. The Obama administration and the Automotive Task Force are not interested in running our business. What they are interested in doing is helping us transition to a very healthy balance sheet and to make sure that the structure of our company is appropriate. They know that the experts on the car side are housed within our business, and they want to help us guide the structure, but they're not interested in running the day-to-day operation.
Is this a real bankruptcy? I mean, is this really a bankruptcy? Or is it a kind of a sort of bankruptcy?
No, it's a full-fledged bankruptcy, and every one of our stakeholders within the company fully understand that it's a bankruptcy because everybody will be asked to sacrifice, whether it's through plant closings or asking our employees to take pay cuts, or in fact, in terms of our dealer network, we will be removing many of the dealers that we have out there in the United States. So there'll be shared sacrifice and pain by everyone. It's a full-fledged bankruptcy. You can be rest assured of that.
I don't know what that means.
So how are they going to decide which dealerships are toast?
Well, we went through a really in-depth process in taking a look at where our strengths were. We had over 6,100 dealers in the marketplace, and in fairness, they're not all created equal. We had some terrific dealers and some not so terrific dealers, and the dealers for whom were not performing well, and as a matter of fact, this was reported by many, over the last couple of weeks, we sent letters to over 1,100 dealers and explained to them that we were not prepared to renew their franchise. We took a look at some very key metrics like sales, customer satisfaction, capitalization, profitability, and for dealers that didn't meet the appropriate standards, we instructed them that they were not going to be part of our long-term plan.
So I'm looking at numbers here, and it says here the government could own 72% of General Motors. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then the union will own 17.5%, correct?
Yes, that's through the new union negotiation on their VIBA. That's correct. Mm-hmm. And then the remaining 10% will be held for our unsecured bondholders and other unsecured creditors of General Motors.
Okay, so now as a guy who bought GM stock, what am I getting out of this deal?
Well, the current stockholders will be wiped out, and as you're probably familiar with, our company will be delisted off the New York Stock Exchange. And what we're talking about at this point, though, is the government does not want to be a long-term shareholder within our company. And
I did. Well, I wanted to be a long-term shareholder. Well, see, here's what I don't understand. We're talking with Vice President of General Motors, Susan Doherty. It seems like I keep hearing all this rhetoric about shared sacrifice and all this other kind of stuff. The only people I see really sharing a sacrifice are guys like me who believed in General Motors, bought stock in General Motors, and now I'm just told, well, yeah, you're wiped out. I'm just sitting here with paper.
Correct. You are.
Well, can I have a vet? Can I have a Corvette to really make this before you guys start making the slow ones? Can I get one of the fast ones?
You can, Chris, and I will tell you that we've got some great deals on Corvettes right now. If
yeah,
you're
but
interested in coming to see us.
Can I take my stock that's now worth nothing and we can add that in as if it was part of the purchase price?
Great idea, Chris, but no, you're not going to be able to turn in your stock for a Corvette. That won't work.
Are you guys going to be buying advertising on radio stations?
You bet we are, and as a matter of fact, we're launching a brand new GM reinvention campaign starting this evening, and something that's in my shop called the Buick Lacrosse. We're getting ready to launch that within the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And the one thing we need to do as we reinvent this company is we need to go full speed ahead with our foot on the pedal on launching the new Buick Lacrosse, the Chevy Equinox, the CTS wagon. We've got 6 phenomenal new products that we're going to be launching over the next 90 days. And what we need to be doing here is instilling confidence in customers that we build great products that have a terrific warranty backed by the government, and they can feel confident about coming back into the showroom.
How are companies like Ford going to compete with General Motors now? Because General Motors will now be able to come back to the taxpayer over and over again to make up any losses if there are any. And I'll give you a break if there are any. How are companies like Ford supposed to compete with that?
Fucking thing sucks.
Well, don't forget, in terms of the restructuring of Ford's balance sheet, that was something that they were working on prior to the economy going into a recession. And in terms of competing, I can't speak on behalf of the Ford executive team. I have had an opportunity to interact with Mark Fields on some other interviews that I was doing during the New York Auto Show, and they feel very confident and poised that as the economy comes back, they're going to be able to compete, just like everybody else.
Right, but they have to make money, and, what I see, I know we have to wrap this up, but anyway, all right, well, listen, I appreciate your time this morning, Ms. Doherty. Would Chevrolet like to say anything special to me and other guys who invested in stock and now have nothing? Is there any special message for us?
Well, first of all, as I stated before, bankruptcy is certainly not something that anybody wants to enter, but I feel confident that we are going to get General Motors back on the right track. We're going to move with an incredible amount of speed, and we hope to see you in our showrooms again, if not buying our stock.
All right. Well, listen, thank you very much for your time, Ms. Doherty, and best to you in this great change that we embrace here with General Motors. All right, best to you, ma'am. All right, Chris Baker radio program, maybe sorry could have been, maybe I'm sorry, we're sorry wasn't on the Obama talking points. Does she have a teleprompter, too?
Fucking thing sucks!